So now we're going to release three common areas at the shoulder that can be stiff and tight from a lot of swimming. One is the front of the shoulder and pec area, the lat underneath the shoulder, and then we're going to go to the back of the shoulder where the rotator cuff is. So the first one we're going to do is the front of the pec. So you'll lay down flat and put the foam roller parallel to your body and have the front of your pec over it, and you're going to kind of keep that thumb down and roll through that front of the pec, really trying to release any tight muscles there. Now if you find a nice tender spot, hold on to it, look up and away. You hold that stretch for about 5 seconds, look up and away. Okay? Then the next one is going to be the lat. If the lat's tight, you won't be able to get the arm directly overhead. It'll pull your shoulder forward, which means you're going to have to extend more at your T-spine, which may result in your lower back pain or shoulder impingement. So you're going to be on your side, so right up under the armpit, into the armpit. You're going to roll down into the lat, back and forth. Find a tender spot and just kind of roll back and forth into it. And then you can flex and extend through it to give an active release. If you find multiple tight spots, roll through to the second tight spot and work that out as well. Again, a minute or two. Usually don't stare at the clock. What you want to do is just keep doing these until you get a better quality of movement, less restricted movement. The next one, you're going to have your upper arm laying alongside parallel to the foam roller, and the foam roller is going to be pushing into the back of your shoulder blade and the back of your shoulder. You're going to roll through, find any tender spots back there on the rotator cuff, and then you're going to internally and externally rotate until you find any of those tender spots. You should feel an improved quality of movement and range of motion as you do these. Okay. So I'm going to show you some shoulder corrections for if you had a T-spine mobility issue or a shoulder mobility issue. First thing it starts out with is foam roller. If you don't have one of these, pick one up. You can get one at Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart or whatever, about 10-15 bucks. If you get an option, buy one that's a little more firm. It'll help really get into releasing the muscles a lot easier. So first one we're going to do is we're going to go after your upper back, your thoracic spine. And most of you had an extension issue at your T-spine. So I'm going to show you how to gain a little thoracic spine extension. So we're going to put the foam roller down. You're going to have it just at your mid to upper back. You're not going to have it on the lower back. You're not going to have it on your neck. You're going to support your neck so that you're not having to strain to keep your head up. You're going to keep your elbows up. And what you're going to do is keep your hips and spine in neutral. So you're going to keep your core a little bit tight. And you're going to roll through your upper back, back and forth. You might feel the muscles get a little bit looser as you do this. You don't want to strain. You want to relax over this, okay? So you're not doing a sit-up or trying to crunch. You're just rolling over the area. Then after a couple of minutes of releasing, I want you to just relax your arms back, keep your core in neutral down here. Take a deep breath in, and relax back over the foam roll to try and gain extension. Don't drop your hips to gain extension. We don't want lower back or lumbar extension. We want your upper back to have to extend over the foam roll. Do that for about 45 seconds to a minute, and you can repeat it 2 or 3 times throughout the day. Okay, good? Okay. The next one's called a sunrise, and what we do is you're going to lock your lower back into place by having your top hip flexed above 90 degrees. And that's, as we rotate, that's going to keep your lumbar spine from rotating too much. It's going to make most of the rotation be up at your thoracic spine. So then you're going to have your bottom hand palm up out in front of you and put your other palm on top of that one. So that's our starting position. The bottom leg is down straight. And the first thing you're going to do is flip that top hand palm up. And then the concept is that you want to try and maintain as much contact with the back of this hand and forearm to the ground the entire time. So I'm not going to do a great job of it. But what you want to do is breathe and relax and come slowly across as you rotate. See, I'm coming off the ground here. Try and get it to stick to the ground while maintaining contact with your foam roller on this side. And then when you come out to where you're in this T position, flip your hand over and come up your back, trying to keep the shoulder back. If you find a spot that's restricted, breathe into it. If you're out here in this position and you find a spot that's restricted, internally and externally rotate your hand and breathe to get it to relax back. And then slowly come back to your starting position. You'll do about 10 really slow reps of that. You should find with each rep that you get an improvement in the quality and range of motion of the movement, and you'll make sure you do 10 reps on both sides. It also helps T-spine rotation and shoulder mobility. It's not a stretch, but it helps you to improve that rotational movement of the T-spine and shoulder. So now, if we've passed our shoulder mobility tests, and we've got good range of motion there, and we're doing well on our core stability, then we're going to start combining those two things together. And I'm going to show you two exercises that help bridge that gap. So we're going to start in a plank, push-up plank position. We maintain neutral spine. You can widen your feet a little bit. And all we're going to do from here is we're going to emphasize integrating the core with shoulder mobility and stability. And we're just going to rock back into a yoga push-up, kind of downward dog. And we're going to drop the hips back into the neutral spine. So I have to flex my shoulders all the way up and come back down into a neutral core plank position. Now, if we want to integrate lower body work in with the core stability, then we put a towel on a slick surface, wood floor, linoleum, kitchen floor, things like that. You're just going to put one foot on the towel. You're going to get into your push-up plank position. And what you're going to do is, without rolling or hiking up your hips, you're going to flex your knee up to where it touches your forearm and go back down. You'll want somebody to watch you do these to make sure that you're maintaining a neutral spine and not hiking your hips up and borrowing core to get your knee to flex all the way up. And you'll want to do a few sets of 10 on each side, but remember, technique is the most important thing. Don't try and feel the burn on these or do these like you may see in some core exercises. This is really all about using your core to stabilize while having shoulder stability and hip mobility.